A coffee mug slides off the table. Not knocked over, slides in a straight line off the edge and keeps going, picking up speed across the floor like it's got somewhere to be. That's the first 4 seconds of the day gravity decided to point sideways instead of down. You feel it too, immediately. That constant, familiar pull toward the floor is gone, replaced by a pull toward one wall of the room, and your body starts drifting the second you stop actively bracing against it. A chair skids past. A bookshelf leans, groans, and slowly starts to tip in the same direction everything else is heading. You grab the nearest fixed thing, a door frame, bolted into the actual structure of the house, and hang on, watching everything not bolted down slowly migrate toward the same wall, gathering into a pile that keeps growing louder. Outside, it's already worse. Anything on wheels is rolling. Cars, shopping carts, bicycles leaned against a wall, all drifting the same direction at once. Gently at first, then not gently at all once they pick up speed on a flat stretch of road. A parked car crunches into a mailbox. Another slides straight through an intersection nobody's paying attention to yet because everybody on that street is currently occupied hanging onto a lamppost. The buildings are the real problem, though, and this is where things stop being funny fast. Buildings are engineered obsessively for one specific kind of force: straight down. Every beam, every support column, every foundation is calculated against the weight of the structure pulling toward the earth, plus a little extra buffer for wind or the occasional earthquake shake. None of that math accounts for gravity itself quietly reorienting 90 degrees and staying that way for hours. A wall that spent its entire existence holding weight downward suddenly has to hold that same weight sideways, and it simply wasn't built for that job. Cracks start low, near the foundation, spreading upward fast. Somewhere across the city, a building that stood for 60 years leans, slowly, like it's thinking about it, and then doesn't stop. Water does something almost more unsettling. Lakes and pools don't just ripple, they tip. Whole bodies of water start sliding toward whatever direction sideways happens to be that day, climbing up one shoreline and abandoning the other entirely, leaving boats stranded on suddenly dry lake beds, while the opposite shore floods streets that have never seen standing water before. The ocean does the same thing, at a scale that's genuinely hard to picture. Coastlines flooding on one side of every landmass, retreating dramatically on the other. Tides replaced by something closer to an actual slow-motion tidal wave that just never stops pushing in one direction. The air itself joins in too. Wind in this scenario isn't really wind anymore. It's just the entire atmosphere obeying the same sideways pull as everything else, meaning sustained, hurricane-force gusts blowing steadily in one direction all day, everywhere on the planet at once. Trees that survive actual hurricanes just fine start snapping, because those trees are built to flex against a gust that eventually stops. This one doesn't stop. It just keeps leaning on everything all day long, with nothing behind it but more of the same. Here's a strange comparison worth sitting with for a second. Engineers already designed for a version of this, just an incredibly brief one. Earthquake-resistant buildings are specifically built to survive sudden, violent, sideways shaking. But that shaking lasts seconds, sometimes a couple of minutes on a truly bad day, and then gravity goes right back to normal, straight down, exactly where the rest of the structure expects it to be. Nothing on Earth is built to survive that same sideways force held constant for hours. Earthquake engineering solves for a sprint. This scenario is closer to an actual marathon, with no finish line until gravity decides to snap back. And when it does snap back, because in this scenario it eventually does, that's arguably the most dangerous single moment of the entire day. Everything that spent hours drifting sideways, climbing walls, piling up against one side of every room and every street, suddenly has straight-down gravity again from wherever it happens to currently be. A car that ended up wedged 3 stories up against a leaning building doesn't gently roll back to street level. It falls. A bookshelf that's been resting sideways against a wall for hours suddenly has an entirely different down to obey and comes crashing onto whatever's now underneath it. The actual return to normal gravity might genuinely cause more damage in 10 seconds than the sideways day did in 10 hours, purely because nothing that drifted got to drift back down gently. It just falls, all at once, from wherever the day left it. Which is really the whole unsettling core of this thought experiment. We don't build a single thing on this planet, not our houses, not our cities, not even our own body's sense of balance, around gravity possibly pointing somewhere other than down. That direction is the one assumption baked into absolutely everything, so completely that it never even registers as an assumption at all. It's just down. The one thing on Earth nobody ever plans around losing, because nobody seriously imagines they'd have to. So maybe the actual takeaway isn't really about physics. It's about how much of daily life quietly depends on a single, constant rule holding steady without anyone ever having to think about it, until the one day it doesn't.